As of the year 2025, the legacy of The Godfather, 1972, one of the most iconic and influential films in cinematic history, continues to endure. Yet behind its brilliance lies a haunting reality, the passing of 38 actors who once brought its unforgettable characters to life. These performers, whether in leading roles or brief but memorable appearances, have since left the stage of life, many under tragic or somber circumstances. Their deaths serve not only as a reminder of the relentless passage of time, but also as a testament to the fragility behind Hollywood's golden curtain. This tribute reflects on the sorrowful fates and final days of these individuals who forever shaped the world of film through their work in The Godfather. In The Godfather, 1972, Marlon Brando delivered a landmark performance as Don Vito Corleone at the age of 48. With his raspy voice and calm yet commanding presence, Brando redefined cinematic power, portraying the mafia patriarch as both a formidable leader and a deeply introspective figure. While the performance earned him an Academy Award, Brando famously refused the Oscar in a bold political gesture, showcasing the same rebellious spirit that often derailed his career. Known for his refusal to memorize lines, frequent disputes with directors, and erratic on-set behavior, Brando's professional brilliance was frequently overshadowed by personal chaos. Off-screen, his life was marked by estrangement from many of his at least 11 children, emotional volatility, and a decades-long struggle with obesity and depression. Tragedy further darkened his legacy when his son, Christian, was convicted of manslaughter in the death of Cheyenne Brando's boyfriend, an event that led to Cheyenne's eventual suicide. Marlon Brando died of respiratory failure on July 1, 2004 at the age of 80, leaving behind a legacy equally defined by genius and turmoil. James Caan's portrayal of Sonny Corleone, Don Vito's volatile eldest son, brought raw energy and violent charisma to The Godfather when he was just 32 years old. Caan's on-screen rage mirrored a personal life marked by controversy and chaos. Despite early acclaim, his off-screen behavior, including a physical altercation at the Playboy Mansion, an arrest involving a firearm and multiple assault allegations, contributed to a steep career decline. The 1980s saw him battling substance abuse and depression, particularly after the death of his sister. Caan endured 4 failed marriages and contentious custody disputes, and rumors of mob affiliations followed him due to questionable associations and a reputation for gambling. Though remembered for his magnetic charm and undeniable talent, he was also known for volatility and recklessness. James Caan passed away on July 6, 2022 at the age of 82 from a heart attack, leaving behind a celebrated body of work and a legacy marked by brilliance and self-destruction. At age 56, Sterling Hayden delivered a chilling performance as the corrupt and brutal Captain McCluskey in The Godfather. The role, though minor, left a strong impression, as did Hayden's own complex and contradictory life. Born on March 26, 1916, Hayden was once a member of the Communist Party and later testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee, naming names, a decision he deeply regretted and referred to as his Judas moment. Tormented by guilt, he turned to alcohol and chronicled his despair in a memoir. Hayden lived reclusively on a houseboat, frequently embarking on solitary voyages, expressing disdain for acting even as he continued to accept roles for financial survival. His personal life was strained, with a failed marriage and distant relationships with his children. Frequently combative on set, he viewed Hollywood with contempt. Behind his imposing exterior was a man battling lifelong inner turmoil. Hayden died from prostate cancer on May 23, 1986, at the age of 70, having become estranged from both his family and the industry he once helped define. Richard S. Castellano was 39 when he appeared as Peter Clemenza in The Godfather, bringing warmth and menace to the role of the affable yet deadly capo regime. His performance became iconic, but Castellano's career was plagued by behind-the-scenes conflicts. His absence from The Godfather Part 2 was due not only to financial disagreements but also to a serious rift with director Francis Ford Coppola. Castellano reportedly demanded to write his own dialogue. Known for being controlling and egotistical, he alienated colleagues and industry professionals with his inflexible attitude. His marriage to actress Ardell Sheridan was reportedly troubled, and he battled obesity and health issues throughout his later years. As offers dwindled, Castellano withdrew from public life, becoming increasingly paranoid and disillusioned. He died of a heart attack on December 10, 1988 at age 55, a tragic conclusion for a once celebrated actor whose talent was ultimately eclipsed by personal demons. John Marley, 65 when he portrayed the powerful film producer Jack Woltz in The Godfather, 1972, delivered a chillingly memorable performance, forever etched in cinematic history thanks to the infamous horsehead scene. Known for his intense and often unsettling characters, Marley maintained a relatively discreet public profile, though his private life held more complexity. Born on October 17, 1907, Marley was considered reserved and deeply committed to his craft. He had a series of brief, emotionally charged relationships, primarily with younger actresses, some of whom later described him as possessive and difficult. An uncompromising advocate of method acting, Marley's extreme dedication sometimes veered into volatility. He once slapped a fellow actor off camera to evoke a more authentic on-screen reaction, cementing his reputation as both intense and unpredictable. Despite a long-term partnership, Marley never married, reportedly due to long-standing estrangement from his conservative Catholic family. As his career progressed, he grew increasingly bitter over never attaining true stardom. Complications from open-heart surgery led to his death on May 22, 1984, at age 76, closing the chapter on a passionate, enigmatic artist whose performances were as layered as his life. At age 44, Al-Latiri brought chilling authenticity to the role of Virgil, the Turk, Sollozzo, the cunning heroin trafficker in The Godfather, 1972. With his low, gravelly voice and cold demeanor, Latiri perfectly captured the sinister edge of organized crime, a role disturbingly close to real life. Born February 24, 1928, Latiri was tied by marriage to notorious gangster Pasquale Eboli. He often hinted at his underworld associations, boasting about friends up north, and allegedly intimidating co-stars with veiled threats. This proximity to crime fueled speculation and unease in Hollywood circles, both a source of curiosity and concern. Despite his talent, Latiri's explosive temper and turbulent personal life undermined his career. A bitter divorce, accusations of domestic violence, estrangement from his son, and mounting gambling debts painted a portrait of a man spiraling out of control. In his final years, paranoia and erratic behavior eclipsed his once promising trajectory. He died suddenly of a heart attack on October 18, 1975, at just 47, a fate as grim as the characters he portrayed. Richard Conte, 62 when he portrayed the calculating Don Emilio Barzini in The Godfather, 1972, brought gravitas and menace to the role of a mafia mastermind. Once a leading man in 1940s film noir, Conte's performance was a late-career triumph in an otherwise fading star's journey. Born on March 24, 1910, Conte enjoyed early fame before clashing with Hollywood's changing tide. Rumors of mafia associations and growing friction with directors saw him quietly pushed out of major roles. His insistence on artistic control and reluctance to compromise made him both respected and avoided within the industry. His personal life mirrored these conflicts. His marriage to actress Ruth Story ended contentiously, amid accusations of infidelity and emotional manipulation. His relationship with his son, Mark Conte, was marked by estrangement and volatility. Behind the composed exterior, Conte struggled with alcoholism and chronic hypertension, symptoms of a deeper dissatisfaction with a career that never fully delivered on its promise. He died of a heart attack on April 15, 1975, at age 65, leaving behind a legacy clouded by unfulfilled potential. Abe Vigetta was 51 when he took on the role of Salvatore Tessio, the quietly treacherous consigliere in The Godfather, 1972. His performance as the once loyal friend who betrays the Corleone family earned quiet acclaim, particularly for his dignified acceptance of his fate. Born February 24, 1921, Vigetta became a familiar face in film and television, yet his gaunt features and melancholic presence often typecast him in somber, aging roles. From the 1980s onward, a bizarre and recurring media joke, repeatedly declaring him dead, became a source of deep personal pain. He later confessed to feeling as if the world had erased him while he was still alive. His private life was quieter but not without sorrow. A failed marriage and a distant relationship with his daughter marked his personal narrative. Though never embroiled in scandal, Vigetta carried a deep-seated bitterness over being overlooked in an industry that had once embraced him. He passed away of natural causes on January 26, 2016 at the age of 94, a gentle end to a life defined by solemn dignity and the haunting echo of misunderstanding. Rudy Bond, born on October 10, 1912, portrayed Don Carmine Cuneo in The Godfather, 1972, at age 60. Although Cuneo was a minor character, his role as a tough gang leader echoed Bond's own acting career, marked by early promise that ultimately fell short of its potential. Bond began with success on Broadway but soon developed a reputation as temperamental and demanding, frequently clashing with directors and insisting on additional scenes to showcase his talent. Off-screen, Bond's personal life was equally tumultuous. His marriage to writer Alma Halbert was troubled by infidelity and emotional volatility, leading to strained relationships with their children. A major stain on his career came in 1967, when he was accused of assaulting a young stage assistant, an incident reportedly suppressed by studio executives. As his reputation deteriorated, Bond was quietly blacklisted from major productions, relegated to minor roles in low-budget films. In his final years, friends described him as increasingly paranoid, convinced the entertainment industry had conspired to erase him. Rudy Bond died of a heart attack on March 29, 1982, at age 69, bringing to an end a career and life marred by conflict and unfulfilled promise. John Cazale, at age 37, gave a heartbreaking performance as Fredo Corleone in The Godfather, 1972. The tragic middle son whose betrayal stemmed not from ambition, but deep emotional pain. Cazale's portrayal of Fredo's vulnerability and insecurity remains one of the film's most unforgettable elements. Born on August 12, 1935, Cazale starred in only 5 films, each of which was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Despite this remarkable record, Cazale was known for his acute self-doubt and emotional fragility. Colleagues recalled his frequent panic attacks and crying spells during rehearsals. His romantic relationship with actress Meryl Streep was deep but intense, marked by his declining health and her devoted caretaking. Diagnosed with terminal lung cancer during the filming of The Deer Hunter, Cazale's condition was kept secret so he could complete his role. Streep and Robert De Niro personally advocated for him to stay on the project, even as production became strained. John Cazale passed away on March 13, 1978, at just 42 years old. His death was not only a loss to cinema, but the quiet departure of a fragile, gifted artist whose legacy endures far beyond his brief career. Al Martino, born October 7, 1927, was 45 when he portrayed singer Johnny Fontane in The Godfather, 1972. Fontane, a crooner seeking mob intervention to save his career, was widely believed to be modeled on Frank Sinatra, a connection that sparked behind-the-scenes controversy. Martino's path to the role was fraught with rumors of mafia interference. After being initially cut by director Francis Ford Coppola, Martino allegedly secured the part back with pressure from underworld figures, including threats that forced the studio's hand. Though he delivered a memorable performance, Martino was often criticized for his stiff acting and was shadowed by speculation that his success owed more to connections than craft. His personal life mirrored the instability of his career. A marriage marked by secrecy and infidelity ultimately ended in divorce, and Martino struggled with gambling and volatile behavior. He also endured the heartbreak of losing a child, a tragedy he rarely discussed. Al Martino died of a heart attack on October 13, 2009, at age 82, remembered as much for the intrigue surrounding his career as for his singular role in cinema history. Lenny Montana, born March 13, 1926, brought chilling authenticity to the role of Luca Brasi, the fearsome enforcer in The Godfather, 1972. At 46, Montana wasn't just playing a gangster, he had lived the life. A former professional wrestler and reputed enforcer for the Colombo crime family, Montana reportedly had real-life experience with violence, which he never publicly denied. His casting came with warnings. Montana asked Coppola not to pry into his past, and an FBI agent reportedly monitored him during production. His nervousness while acting opposite Marlon Brando, causing a stutter that was left in the final cut, only added to the realism of his performance. Despite the breakout role, Montana's film career stalled. Hollywood distanced itself from him due to his criminal associations. His private life was equally turbulent. A broken marriage, a son imprisoned for extortion, and struggles with alcoholism and gambling. In his later years, Montana faded into obscurity, making appearances at fan conventions while battling illness. He died of a heart attack on May 12, 1992 at the age of 66, forever remembered for a single role that felt chillingly close to the truth. Morgana King, born June 4, 1930, portrayed Carmela Corleone in The Godfather, 1972, at the age of 42. As the matriarch of the Corleone family, her character embodied quiet strength and traditional values. Off-screen, King was primarily known as an accomplished jazz vocalist with a captivating stage presence. Her personal life, however, was marked by turbulence. Her husband, acclaimed trombonist Willie Dennis, died in a car accident in 1965, an event that profoundly affected her. In the decades that followed, she reportedly endured volatile relationships and personal hardships, including alleged abuse in the 1980s. As the popularity of jazz waned, King faced financial setbacks and grew increasingly reclusive. Those close to her described her later years as marked by depression and hoarding behaviors. Despite her struggles, she remained a respected figure in both music and film. Morgana King died of non-Hodgkin lymphoma on March 22, 2018, at the age of 87. Richard Bright, born June 28, 1937, played Al Neri, Michael Corleone's loyal and lethal enforcer in The Godfather, 1972, at age 35. His portrayal of the stoic and ruthless bodyguard added a chilling layer to the film's underworld. In contrast to his reserved character, Bright's real life was often tumultuous. Known for his fiery temper, he had multiple run-ins with the law throughout the 1970s and 1980s, including arrests for assault and public intoxication. His marriage to actress Rutanya Alda ended quietly, strained by personal differences and professional setbacks. His relationship with his son was reportedly difficult. As his career waned, Bright struggled with depression and alcohol abuse, burdened by feelings of being overlooked by the industry. On February 18, 2006, he died at age 68 after being struck by a bus in New York City, a sudden and tragic end to a troubled but memorable career. Tony Giorgio, born September 27, 1923, portrayed Bruno Tattaglia, a scheming nightclub owner involved in narcotics trafficking in The Godfather, 1972, at age 49. Before his acting career, Giorgio had a colorful past as a professional magician and card shark. Allegedly, he fell afoul of organized crime figures after accusations of cheating during private games. These rumors, along with whispered connections to the underworld, cast a shadow over his Hollywood pursuits. Giorgio's personal life was equally complex, with a string of failed relationships and increasing paranoia in his later years. Some colleagues attributed his erratic behavior to amphetamine use. He was blacklisted by several productions after walking off sets mid-filming. Tony Giorgio died of heart failure on February 1, 2012, at the age of 88, leaving behind a life marked by both intrigue and instability. Alex Rocco, born February 29, 1936, played Mo Green, the brash and flamboyant Las Vegas casino boss, in The Godfather, 1972, when he was 36. The role became iconic, capturing the arrogance and excess of mob expansion into the entertainment industry. Before his Hollywood career, Rocco was associated with the Winter Hill Gang in Boston and was once questioned in connection with a gangland murder. Seeking a fresh start, he relocated to California, changed his name, and studied acting under Leonard Nimoy. Despite building a steady career, Rocco faced personal setbacks, including legal trouble such as arrests for drunk driving and domestic disturbances in the late 1970s. His marriage to Sandy Elaine Garrett was fraught with conflict and ended tragically with her suicide in 2002. Industry insiders often described Rocco as combative on set, and he was temporarily banned from a production after threatening a producer. Alex Rocco died of pancreatic cancer on July 18, 2015, at the age of 79, remembered as a compelling performer whose real-life narrative was as layered as his most famous role. Vito Scotti, born on January 26, 1918, portrayed Nazarene, the gentle and earnest baker who seeks Don Corleone's help, in The Godfather, 1972, at age 54. His tender on-screen demeanor stood in contrast to a far more turbulent personal life. Although widely respected as a gifted character actor, Scotty's career was hindered during the Red Scare when he was blacklisted due to suspected ties to left-leaning theater circles, allegations he consistently denied. Off-camera, Scotty's personal life was marked by instability, including multiple marriages and a long-standing extramarital relationship in Mexico, disguised as professional travel. His son later described him as emotionally distant, using his work to avoid familial duties. Plagued by chronic smoking and compulsive gambling, Scotty once lost an entire paycheck at the racetrack in a single night. He died from lung cancer on June 5, 1996, at age 78, largely overlooked by the industry he had once served so well. Franco City, born on April 23, 1935, played Carlo, the loyal Sicilian bodyguard in The Godfather, 1972, at age 37. Known for his iconic line, "In Sicily, women are more dangerous than guns," City's performance echoed his deep ties to Italian cinema. He rose to prominence under the mentorship of director Pier Paolo Pasolini, leading to widespread speculation about a personal relationship between the two, rumors City vehemently denied. Despite his artistic acclaim, his life was marred by family troubles and brushes with the law. His brother served time for drug trafficking, and Franco himself was investigated, though never charged, in a heroin trafficking case in 1970s Rome. As he battled alcoholism and depression, his once bright career dimmed. City died on January 14, 2016 at the age of 80, living in poverty among unproduced scripts and fading memories of cinematic greatness. Julie Gregg, born on January 24, 1937, portrayed Sandra Corleone, the quietly suffering wife of Sonny Corleone, in The Godfather, 1972, at the age of 35. Her restrained performance reflected the silent endurance of many women in violent, patriarchal worlds. A Tony-nominated stage actress, Gregg's career trajectory was cut short in the 1980s after she accused a powerful producer of sexual harassment, an act that, she claimed, led to blacklisting. Gregg never married and spoke privately of enduring multiple miscarriages and abortions during the height of her career. In her later years, she withdrew from public life, declining interviews and avoiding fan interactions. Whispers of a long, secret relationship with a married television actor circulated, reportedly ending in emotional collapse. Julie Gregg died of cancer on November 7, 2016, at the age of 79, alone in a nursing facility, with no family mentioned in her obituary. Saro Ezi, born February 24, 1913, played Signor Vitelli, the proud and traditional Sicilian father of Apollonia, in The Godfather, 1972, at age 59. A celebrated figure in Italian cinema, Ezi earned international acclaim, including honors at the Cannes Film Festival. However, his success was accompanied by a growing bitterness. On set, he became known for his temper and was rumored to demand off-the-books payments before cooperating. Frustrated by repeated rejections from international productions, he attributed his exclusion to anti-Sicilian prejudice. Little is known about his personal life, but accounts suggest a failed marriage, allegedly due to his jealousy and volatile behavior. In his final years, Ezi lived in isolation, heavily smoking and lamenting what he perceived as betrayals by the industry. He died of a heart attack on November 1, 1979, at age 66, though friends said he had died inside long before. Giancarlo Coppola, born on September 17, 1963, made a brief but symbolically poignant appearance in The Godfather, 1972, as a young baptism observer at the age of 9. Though the role was minor, his presence in a pivotal scene, juxtaposing religious innocence with acts of violence, offered a subtle but powerful image. Despite being the son of acclaimed director Francis Ford Coppola, Giancarlo's own aspirations in filmmaking were cut short. His young adulthood was marked by rebellion, reckless driving incidents, nightlife excesses alongside other children of Hollywood elites, and volatile relationships, including one with Tracy Reiner, daughter of Penny Marshall. Over time, he struggled with alcoholism, insecurity, and a growing fear that he would never achieve recognition in his own right. Tragically, his life ended in a boating accident on May 26, 1986, in Maryland. He was only 22. A tow rope fatally struck him, bringing a premature and devastating close to a life once full of potential. Composer and conductor Carmine Coppola, born on June 11, 1910, made a cameo as a pianist in The Godfather, 1972, at the age of 62. Although his screen appearance was fleeting, his musical influence on the film was significant. As the creative force behind much of the movie's soundtrack, Carmine played a foundational role in shaping the sonic identity of the Coppola cinematic legacy. However, his private life was fraught with frustration. Often overshadowed by the fame of his son, Francis Ford Coppola, Carmine reportedly expressed resentment over the lack of recognition for his contributions. This tension occasionally erupted into conflict, most notably an incident in which he threatened to walk out of a recording session unless properly credited. Rumors of marital strain and familial discord added to the complexity of his personal life, including accounts of estrangement from relatives who diverged from artistic paths. Known for his demanding nature, particularly with younger musicians, he was once banned from a session after throwing a chair in anger. Despite these challenges, his artistic legacy endures. Carmine Coppola passed away on April 26, 1991, at age 80, following complications from a stroke. Sonny Grosso, born on July 21, 1930, appeared briefly in The Godfather, 1972, as a police officer standing outside a hospital. While the role was modest, Grosso himself was a high-profile figure, renowned for his work as a New York City detective and as inspiration for the French Connection. Behind the scenes, however, his reputation was far more contentious. In Hollywood, he was both admired and feared for his aggressive business tactics, with persistent whispers of backdoor deals and manipulative contract negotiations. As he transitioned to film and television production, Grosso faced numerous obstacles, including legal disputes, financial instability, and alleged associations with organized crime, an ironic twist for a former anti-mafia officer. His professional demeanor was often described as domineering, and former colleagues accused him of volatile behavior, abandonment, and credit misappropriation. His personal life fared little better. His marriage ended amid allegations of infidelity and emotional neglect. The unexpected death of his brother, also a law enforcement officer, appeared to trigger a descent into paranoia and obsessive control. Sonny Grosso died on January 22, 2020, at the age of 89, reportedly from natural causes. Tom Rosca, born on June 12, 1928, portrayed Rocco Lamp I in The Godfather, 1972, at age 44. As the quiet, loyal enforcer of the Corleone family, Rocco mirrored elements of Roschi's own inner struggles. A classically trained actor with a strong background in Shakespearean theater, Rosca once showed great promise on stage. However, his transition to film was met with disappointment, as leading roles continually eluded him. He attributed these setbacks to industry politics and personal betrayals. His off-screen life was similarly troubled. A contentious marriage to a fellow actor ended in a publicized divorce marred by allegations of infidelity and abuse. Estranged from his only son, who described him as a stranger obsessed with legacy, Rosca increasingly withdrew from public life. After being diagnosed with cancer in the late 1980s, he initially declined treatment, believing he could will himself to recovery. On set, colleagues described him as distant and moody, often exuding a brooding energy that made collaboration difficult. Despite his talent and early promise, Rosca died of cancer on April 12, 1991, at the age of 62, largely forgotten by the industry he once sought to conquer. His death passed with little public acknowledgement, including from the Academy. Paul Lambert, born on August 1, 1922, portrayed a gangster attending Barzini's funeral in The Godfather, 1972, at age 50. Though his role was brief, it mirrored his enigmatic real-life presence in Hollywood. Lambert, often categorized as a dependable yet uncelebrated supporting actor, began his career on stage with promise. However, his trajectory was derailed during the 1950s when he was blacklisted over alleged communist affiliations, claims he consistently denied but never escaped. Lambert's career was marred by persistent typecasting, struggles with alcoholism, and the frustration of being perpetually overlooked by major studios. His personal life reflected similar turmoil. His marriage was largely seen as a facade, while his private behavior included reported involvement with sex workers and instances of emotional abuse. His estranged daughter later alleged that he abandoned the family during her mother's critical illness. On set, Lambert was often described as moody, irritable, and prone to outbursts. As film roles dwindled by the 1980s, he retreated from public view, accepting only minor television roles and living a quiet, reclusive life. Paul Lambert died on April 27, 1997, at the age of 74. The cause of death was never publicly disclosed. Giacomo Rossi Stewart, born on August 25, 1925, appeared briefly as a GI in The Godfather, 1972, at age 47. A striking figure once popular in 1960s European cinema, Rossi Stewart's international career eventually unraveled due to personal struggles and entrenched industry typecasting. Behind his charismatic screen presence lay a man reportedly burdened by harrowing wartime experiences. Accounts suggest he witnessed executions during World War II, leaving emotional scars that would haunt him for life. His private life was volatile, marked by 3 marriages, allegations of domestic abuse, and widely rumored affairs, including with both actresses and male producers. His son, actor Kim Rossi Stewart, has rarely spoken publicly about him. Rossi Stewart battled severe alcoholism, often arriving on set intoxicated and displaying erratic behavior toward colleagues. A major psychological breakdown in the 1980s led to hospitalization following a suicide attempt. In his final years he lived in near total seclusion in Rome, distanced from most of his family. Giacomo Rossi Stewart passed away on October 20, 1994, at the age of 69 from complications related to liver failure. Joe Spinell, born October 28, 1936, gave a memorable performance as the sinister Willie Cicci in The Godfather, 1972, at age 36. A familiar face in roles involving gangsters and enforcers, Spinell's off-screen life was often as turbulent as the characters he portrayed. Struggling with bipolar disorder and long-term substance abuse, Spinell endured multiple breakdowns throughout the 1970s and 1980s. His arrests for public intoxication and assault became increasingly frequent. Deeply attached to his mother, whom he lived with for most of his life, Spinell's personal relationships were marked by volatility and dysfunction. Friends described his moods as wildly unpredictable, with sudden swings from warmth to frightening aggression. On the set of Maniac, 1980, a film he co-wrote and starred in, he was accused of threatening a co-star and nearly lost his role due to erratic behavior. His romantic life included a series of brief and troubled relationships, including one with an adult film actress who later alleged abuse. In his final days, following a serious fall in his apartment, Spinell died alone in his bathroom from blood loss. Joe Spinell passed away on January 13, 1989 at the age of 52, the result of a drug-related heart attack and complications from chronic health conditions. Who is your favorite character in The Godfather? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our latest videos. Thank you for watching.